Namaste and welcome back. In today's video, we will be looking at Utthita Trikonasana and Parivritta Trikonasana, the front-facing triangle posture, and the revolved triangle posture. We'll be looking at the proper alignment and fine-tuning some of the details that make a good triangle posture as well as modifications. So start in Samastitihi, Ekam inhale. Take the feet wide apart at about 3 to 3.5 feet apart. And you can grab the ankle or you can grab the big toe with the middle and index fingers and the thumb. So create a nice long extension through both the arms while making sure that the belly is nice and pulled in and the spine is pulled out and away from the pelvis, so you're opening out through the shoulders. Make sure the quadriceps are engaged and you really have this engagement throughout the legs, and nice long extension, and look up and gaze at the top arm. As your neck is rotating, take deep breaths and try and create as much space as possible, and ask yourself if you feel like there's a nice triangle position. Breathing deeply with a steady gaze on the right arm, pulling up against the toe and the left arm pointing skywards. Legs remain stable and the chest isn't coming forward or going too backwards. When you have this nice stable line, take focused breaths and bring the awareness to the mat, into the body. Having this kind of simplification of the entire thought process by simply focusing on the posture, the breath, and the alignment. Wonderful. You can come out of the pose on the exhale and come back to Samastitihi. So go ahead and inhale and exhale. And now we're going to take a look at some of the common mistakes and start with opening the hands and the feet and watch out for the leg position. We don't want the legs too wide because it creates this uneven base, and at the same time we can't have the legs be too close together where the feet do not have enough distance between them, and it's really hard to grab the big toe without the body and the upper body coming too far forward, which is not what we want. So finding this optimal position, and then once the feet are positioned in place, avoid tilting anything, the pelvis forward and backward, so the chest remains nice and open, and the hips are open, and the thighs externally rotate and are engaged with the spine being completely long throughout the back chain. Avoid arching of the side of the body and instead try and pull the belly in. Yes, and also avoid rolling forwards, like in this case, closing in the shoulder. You're going to make sure that the whole front side of the body is facing laterally, as if you were squeezed between two glass panes, and the belly is nice and pulled in. The arms are relaxed, creating as much space as possible between the vertebrae, and the head and neck shouldn't be dangling backwards or dangling away, and just keeping the gaze nice and fixed if possible on the hand, because otherwise the mind starts to wander and there's no collection of energy with the drishti. That's great. We can look down and come back to Samastitihi or equal standing. And now we'll take a look at the twisted variation or Parivritta Trikonasana. So with the Ekam, you want to inhale, and Dve position, you want to rotate and really as much as possible from the upright standing position, make sure you rotate and make nice space in the lumbar vertebrae and lifting up before you go down. This will give you a chance for the vertebrae to open more, so you don't rotate as you go down, or once you're down you have more of a chance of compressing the vertebrae. So looking at the opposite side, and also engage the legs really strongly. The left quadricep is nice and engaged and the right quadricep is nice and engaged. And now from this position, really creating a sense of stability, inhale, come up, and then exhale, come back to Samastitihi. We'll now take a look at the other side and a few pointers or a few things to avoid. When you come down, imagine really lengthening and not coming too far forward before you come down. This is often taught in yoga classes, but make sure that the spine is nice and vertical so you can rotate and then you can come down. Once you're down here, the shoulders need to extend fully, so watch out for the left hip coming too far. So keep that in mind and draw the belly in, and this will help you really create this integrity with the structure. If the hip angles forward or backward, you want to keep it in a nice neutral position with the hips nice and lined up. So you can use your thighs and your quadriceps to really stabilize and create this nice neutral position, extending through the arms fully. Avoid slouching or drooping or collapsing. Just really push through the lower palm and make sure that there's a nice opening in the chest. This helps to open the shoulders, extend the chest, and ultimately make breathing deeper and the purification more thorough, so you can be completely and fully engaged. Inhale, come up, and exhale. We're going to look at some of the modifications. You can use a block on its highest setting if you feel like, for the twisted variation. If your arms aren't able to touch the ground, you can use your hand to really push down on the block as much as possible with the fingers facing forwards, and really think of stimulating the flow. So instead of pushing too far forward, I want you to bring one hand on your pelvis. So your main work now becomes just in stabilizing the foundation, lengthening the lumbar spine, and pulling the belly in, so you have this nice Uddiyana bandha. And you can adjust the block according to the height you need, of course, if you would like it to be further from the floor, and then you can make it easier if it is difficult for you. Regardless, the main focus is still to remain in the state of the asana, grounding through both feet and really pushing through both hands and lifting up, creating an elongation across the spine. So inhale, coming up. And alternatively, if you don't have access to a block, you can just place your hand somewhere on the shin, below the knee, or above the ankle, and keep extending and breathing. Now think of really picking up the foot with your bottom hand, and that creates a nice tension. Exhale, coming back to Samasthiti. Thank you so much.